Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews today. And today is a day that I've been waiting for quite a little bit of time. I don't know if any of you have been, but today is the day that we review this. The standard Giganotosaurus by Vitae, or Vitae, or Vitae. I'm not positive exactly how you say their name, but this is the standard release. We have previously reviewed the limited edition on here, so I was awaiting this one in the mail. Somehow I managed to get the limited edition before the standard, even though I was sent the limited edition after the standard. But anyway, this is the standard release. As you can see, there are some significant differences and some differences that you may not even notice at all. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say at first glance at this thing, it is absolutely beautiful. I think that I kind of prefer the paint scheme on this one over the limited edition one, because something about it just to me looks a little nicer. I mean, it's got a little bit of a lighter paint scheme as opposed to the limited edition, which was darker. But the actual green, I feel like there's just some really nice airbrushing that they put into this one that wasn't as obvious in the limited edition version. So yeah, I mean, this thing is just beautiful. So I guess let's just take a closer look at this so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. As you can see, starting up here at the head, beautiful coloring all over. It looks pretty similar to the limited edition version, minus the cuts and scrapes. You don't really see the cuts and scrapes on this one at all. But yeah, I mean, they did a fantastic job on the head of this dinosaur. There's just I'm sure hours and hours of sculpt work have gone into this thing to make this thing look quite as beautiful as it does. Just like with the limited edition, this has the jaw that opens and closes, the articulated jaw. I had seen some people complain, saying that the standard version, the jaw will just drop when you close it, but mine doesn't have that problem at all. I can put it wherever I'd like. So I don't know if that was a limited accident that happened with a couple of people's models, but both of mine, the limited and the standard version, both seem to be working quite well when it comes to the articulated jaw. So I don't have that problem. Same red eyes that the limited edition had. Nice, very menacing looking eyes, gives it a pretty evil look. The coloring, aside from the scratches on the face that were on the limited, the coloring on the face looks pretty much the same to me. Maybe, yeah, I think it's pretty much the same. One thing I noticed on this one that I didn't see on the limited though, is that there are some splotches of brown throughout the body, some little hints of brown underneath the green, which I think gives it a really nice look to it. Very realistic look, because on real animals, I mean, most of the time you're gonna see different shades and different types of colors in it, and I think that just gives it a very realistic look to have little bits of little shades of brown here and there underneath the green. Gives it almost an alive type look. Again, the inside of the mouth, I forgot to mention, is it's got a nice gloss over it, so it looks very realistic to me. The coloring and the detail inside the mouth was awesome. They actually have done different shades of color on the tongue and on the inside of the mouth. Very good detail as well in there. I can't really get in there to see with the camera, but if you get one of these in person, take a look inside the mouth and you'll be just at awe over the beauty of the sculpt work inside the mouth and the paint application that they've done there. Again, the little spikes that run down the back of the dinosaur here, very nicely colored, a nice brownish color. I believe that's exactly the same as it was on the limited edition. Yeah, another thing that this one has, or does not have actually, I should say, that the limited had was the blue spots on the side. So, I mean, if some people weren't really a fan of the blue spots because of the way they were applied on it, I didn't really mind them. I thought they looked okay, but this one does not have those, so if you didn't like the blue spots, then the standard release is definitely your way to go. Although, like I said, I like both. The only difference that I really liked on this one, if you can take a look here, I mean, well, it's not the only, but the thing that I like the most on this one is that dry brushing. They've done really nice dry brushing with the darker green over top of the lighter green that they have in the background of it. And I think it just made it look so good the way they did that. one thing that I was raving about with the limited edition was the claws, and that they really took time to paint the claws, not just one shade, but, you know, a few different shades, well, pretty much two. But, I mean, regardless, it's a much bigger improvement, in my opinion, than most companies where they'll just give it a black toe, and that's it, or gray, or white, or something along those lines. But they actually decided to put shades into this to make it look a little more realistic. And that I commend Vitae, because that is absolutely awesome. Most companies just don't do that, and I don't know why, because it really just takes it up a notch as far as its realism, in my opinion. It just really makes it look nice. So I mean, that's pretty much the differences that I can think of here with the limited over the standard release. The standard release is a bit lighter in color. The limited edition was darker, had blue spots, and cuts and scrapes all over the body, like it just went through a war. The standard edition does not have that. So, I mean, I really like the standard edition. I really like the limited edition, but I think the standard Dinosaur just wins it for me a little bit, because I just really like the lighter green as opposed to the darker green. But anyway, let's take a look at the base now. Take her off, or him, whatever you want to call it. And of course, one of the pegs. Again, the same way that the other one went on is the same way this one goes on, with little pegs that are actually removable. You can actually detach the pegs completely from the Dinosaur and the base, but you just slide them into the footprints, and that's how he stays on. The base differences are, you can see the differences here are in the plants. There's a plant here that is not on that one, and then two plants over here also not on that one. But other than that, the differences aren't very dramatic. I mean, I think the coloring is a little brighter maybe on the standard edition base. I'm not sure if that's just the way that they came, because every one of them is hand painted. But yeah, I just feel like the color in the dirt, the soil, is a little brighter on this one, which really makes it look really alive. I think it honestly looks super real, and if I kind of just tipped it over, some of the dirt might fall off, but I mean, it doesn't do that. So one thing that I did notice after having both of these is that this little plant, like dead, deceased, I'm not sure what you would call it, but there's some sort of foliage that I guess has been washed downstream that's dead there. Each one is different, so no matter what you get, if you order one of these, you will have your own unique base, because the foliage, as you can see, both of them are different. They're not the same. So you're going to have a unique base no matter what, that's different than everybody else's in the entire world, because no two bases are going to be exactly the same. Same goes with the trees here. They both have the same tree. They just slide in here. Now, one thing that you need to know is that, now I can't figure out how to put it back in, there we go, is that the trees are very loose. So if you flip this over, it's going to fall out immediately. Same goes for the limited, exact same thing. The tree is very loose, so don't flip it around with the tree in, or you could end up breaking the tree if it falls out, and that would be a disaster that you just don't want to have to deal with, because if you happen to snap this tree, the base isn't going to look exactly right with a big open spot there. Although I will say that the tree actually feels pretty sturdy. It doesn't feel like it would break. In fact, you'd probably have to purposely try to break it just to do that. The underside of the base, oh, let's take the tree out for a second. Same exact thing on both. The box that it came in actually is exactly the same as this, but as the standard, or the limited edition and the standard edition, I should say, just both had the same box, but the limited edition had a special card that came with it, whereas the standard edition does not have that. Looking at it from above, I actually think that if you notice, the tree here on this one has a limb that's bent in a pretty different direction as opposed to this one here, which has a limb that is just straight up. Right here, this limb here is actually bent on this one, so some of the bases as far as the trees go may actually be a bit different as well. If I had to choose the base I would pick, although they're both absolutely awesome, but I'm such a sucker for bushes and vegetation and such, I would have to pick the limited edition base, but I like the standard edition Dinosaur, so it's kind of, I'm kind of torn there. In a perfect world, I think the standard Dinosaur on the limited base would be the best option for me, but I really do love the barren landscape of the regular standard base as well, so they're both awesome, in my opinion. Just for fun, here is the standard edition on the limited edition base. So here's something that I've been looking forward to since ordering these two, is that I get to put the two of them together and kind of make a diorama, and I think that's going to be super awesome. So let's take a look at just what these two look like together. And there we go. Look at how cool this looks. I cannot get over this. This is so neat. And this little diorama that you've got going on here, it kind of, in my opinion, looks like maybe, here's the story I'm thinking this tells. This is the older male that's kind of been around here for a while. This is his territory. This is the younger male, and he just happened to come in and start a fight to take over this territory of the male, the big male, the older one. As you can see, the bigger male didn't fend too well because he is pretty cut up, pretty scraped up, and the younger male has definitely done a number on him, whereas he doesn't have any scratches at all. That's a cute little diorama story you could be telling with this. Regardless, I think it looks awesome together. Just looking at the water flowing through, you can match it up so good so that it kind of just appears like it's just one stream flowing the whole way through. And they're both just standing right above the stream here, ready to rip into each other again, as the older male here does not want to give up his territory, and this younger male seems pretty intent on getting it. Hey, that may not be what you guys would want to tell the story, but I mean, that's a pretty fun story in my opinion. If I had the room to actually put these both up this way, I would definitely do that. Unfortunately, I don't, but regardless, we get a chance to look at it right here, right now, so that's awesome. Anyway, as far as the size of this goes, move it a little better into frame here so we can really see it. There we go. The dinosaur itself is about a little over 15 inches. And then measuring him on the base, the top of his head is about 6 inches, maybe a tiny bit over. And then about 6.5, maybe near 7 with the base. The actual base is about almost 11 inches, 10.5. It's hard to measure because it's different lengths in different spots. And then the width is probably about 6.5 inches, somewhere in that range. So my overall opinion on Vitae is they are awesome, and I absolutely cannot wait to see any of their future releases. This release, their first release ever of the Giganotosaurus, their first dinosaur release, they knocked it out of the park completely. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love both, and can't recommend them enough. One thing I actually forgot to mention is, again, that these are made of like a very rubbery material, so they're pretty soft, they're flexible, you can move them, and they stand really, really well on the bases. I have no issues whatsoever. In fact, I even just carry them around on the base with them standing on, and they don't fall off. So they've done a fantastic job as far as connecting them to the base and the creative way that they've done it. It's just awesome. Everything about this is awesome. I love the base, the dinosaur, all of it. So beautiful. So I will link you guys to Vitae, and I will link you guys to their eBay account if it's still up and running, which I believe it is, as to where you can purchase these. If you are a fan of Giganotosaurus or awesome dinosaur models in general, I would say get on buying this because it is fantastic. And please like, comment, and subscribe, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.